Alrighty, hello everyone, this is Alan from MysteryMTG.com. Today's been an awful day. I'm super pissed. I went into the shop to film this video, the door to my fridge was open, and I had to throw away hundreds of dollars worth of ingredients and clean up water that spilled from the fridge. I'm so mad, but I'll tell you what makes me more mad, and it's the recent bans, the Mana Crypt, the Jeweled Lotus, the Dockside Extortion. I don't care about Nadu, so that doesn't matter to me, but I'm going to focus on those three. I cannot understand why people on Twitter and Facebook don't understand why 50% of Magic players are pissed off. Because Josh Lee Kwai did a poll, looks like 50% were in support, 50% were against. How do you guys not understand why people are mad? Before we go into, because financial value, I'm not going to mention that. I don't care about the financial value. Hole Breacher was banned, I supported that ban, and I lost a lot of money off that because I had multiple copies of Hole Breacher. I don't care. What does matter is that they knew about this over a year ago. Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus have both been Commander staples that Wizards has used to push premium product. Collector boosters, Festival in a box. There are people who just got their Festival in a box that are hitting Jeweled Lotuses that paid that price because of the intrinsic value of the CMM Collector Booster and the LCI Collector Booster, which were both devalued once these bans happened. Oddly timed, right? Right after the Festival in a Box sale has ended. I think it might even still be open, but of course it opened before this whole thing happened. That's ridiculous. And I made the post on Twitter, which went crazy and everyone was both for us and against us, that we're not following these bans. This is ridiculous. And that I feel really bad for our customers who just a week ago were opening their Festival in a box and getting really excited about their CMM and LCI packs, which the entire point of those sets, the whole reason those sets went crazy and people were buying the boxes were for the Mana Crypt and the Jeweled Lotuses. Jeweled Lotus, I just saw the artist make a post and I feel really sorry for her, Alanya, because her art is amazing and the card, it's a really cool card. Jeweled Lotus was only playable in Commander, and it now has literally no use in Magic. Outside of something, I think in Legacy maybe, where you can use a certain card to make it playable, whatever. It basically has no use in Magic. Now it's still holding some value because a lot of people are saying, I'm still playing Jeweled Lotus, I don't care about this ban. This was pushed onto players as recently as 2 weeks ago. Posts were made by WotC, multiple posts about, don't you want a Mana Crypt? Check out LCI. Don't you want a Jeweled Lotus? It's slapped on top of our most premium product. It's literally the cover art for Commander Masters. What are we talking about here? That is so, I mean, what if Mystery MTG did that? You know, like, I mean, I don't even know how he could do that, but if any other business did that, it would cause a freaking shitstorm. And I notice a lot of people defending these decisions on Twitter are influencers who are directly connected to both the RC, CAG, or WotC. I have no issue with these people. I think it's great that they discuss their opinion. It's great that I discuss my opinion, and we should debate. That is an important part of Magic. But when you give these bans, which are, I mean, you have to know these are going to light the internet on fire, and you only give a paragraph of context per ban, and one of the first few things said is that you believe slowing the game down is good for Commander. Slowing the game down is good for Commander. We run multiple WPNs with over 6,000 tickets a year, over 300 engaged and activated players, both very casual pods and competitive pods. I have literally not once in my life seen this be an issue. I've never seen someone play a Mana Crypt and everyone go, oh, okay, I'm done. This is over. Mana Crypt punishes you. I died to Mana Crypt 2 times last week. These cards punish you, especially in casual Commander. And the biggest thing here is in casual pods, you almost never see these cards. When I see people playing here, you rarely see Dockside Extortionist. You rarely see Mana Crypts pulled out. You almost never see a Jeweled Lotus pulled out in casual pods. Never! Now, in competitive pods, you see them pulled out every time. Every time, right? But that's why people play competitive Commander. CDH is a growing format. Of course, it's a niche crowd of Commander players, but it's a true competitive format. There are leagues, there are cash tournaments, there's Discords, there are YouTube channels for it, and it's growing rapidly. These bans obviously target competitive EDH. There's a big difference between high-level EDH and competitive EDH. The beauty of CDH is that you go into it wanting to win fast and not whine about how people are winning. When you see a Dockside, you don't say, well, that's unfair. No, you're playing CDH. Stop whining or get out. When we were hosting our CDH league and we were getting almost 30 people a week, sometimes multiple times a week, if you whined, you were kicked out. You couldn't play. You're playing to win. The faster, the better. The interaction that exists turns zero. You can, I mean, like, how do people not understand this? There are ways to counter spells for free. There are ways to get 5 mana on turn 2. Sure, that all exists. There's a lot of things that exist in Magic. If you're gonna ban Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus, you gotta ban Mana Vault. And then don't give me the whole argument that Soul Ring is too iconic to be banned. Using your reasoning, it has to be banned. This picking and choosing is ridiculous. None of this is related to the financial value. It's not. I think it's just unfair that this is targeting a very specific group of Magic players, and then you have a bunch of people who very obviously don't play CDH, or very obviously are not competitive Commander players, chiming in, saying, you know, this is good, everything's gonna be adapting, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Dude, your pod never cared if you played a Mana Crypt. They don't care. You play Mana Crypt in a City of Brass and you'll kill yourself. I mean, there's a punishment to that. You play a Jeweled Lotus in casual Commander, like, okay. And if you do pop off and you are being way too strong for the pod, you get kicked out of the pod. They're not going to play with you again. That's the beauty of Commander. It's an eternal singleton format. And then when 60 card players who play Modern, Legacy, and whatever chime into this argument, they say, well, we deal with bannings all the time. You know, this is all, yeah, dude, how is this hard to understand for some people? The foundation of competitive EDH is going fast. Going fast means Mana Crypt, LED, Mana Vaults, the Moxes, whatever you can do. That's the foundation. This starts a scary precedent where you're slowing the game down to make it more fun. You got to stand by that. You can't just say that and then this is the only time you ever ban anything because it's too fast. No, that's, you know, that's your mission statement. You're wanting to make Commander more slow, right? That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Commander is fairly healthy right now. You can ban Nadu, ban Thassa's Oracle. What? No one would have cared about a Nadu ban. People would have been irked at a Thassa's Oracle ban, but totally in understanding about it, right? But to go in and ban Jeweled Lotus, Mana Crypt, and Dockside Extortionist. Dockside, I can see the argument for. One of the most powerful cards in red. Instant include for pretty much almost every deck, any competitive deck at least. I can kind of see the argument for that. Jeweled Lotus, like, do this at the design table. I just don't understand how you have a card that was the entire reason. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I find it amazing that these Twitter people that are not representative of most Magic players, because I'll tell you what, Facebook is representative of a lot of Magic players. Some of those Magic groups have 80,000 people in them, and overwhelmingly they're very negative about this. But if you go on Twitter and you see all these, you know, the Spike Feeders and all these people, and the Spike Feeders, one of them were a part of CAG, one of them retweeted us and said, oh, these guys are being blah, blah, blah. You know, it doesn't matter to them. I hate to say it, a lot of these people aren't going to their LGS every week. They're not playing Commander 3 to 4 times a week. They're creating content. They're in collaboration with Wizards. They're, you know, and that's where I get in trouble because I have a WPN, but I'm a gamer. I play Commander every day. That's why I started a store in Dallas. I started a store in Korea. We started a store in Japan because I need to play Commander wherever I go. I love playing Commander. I love my Afara deck. I'll never give it up. It's a bit of a rant, but let me just end it by saying, looks like a lot of store owners are saying, we already have events planned. This is throwing too much of a wrench into things. This really does change the format quite a bit for CDH. And we're actually not going to abide by these recent bannings. And the ban list for us is going to be the ban list prior to yesterday's bannings. And some people are going to say that's not fair. That's not how you should be doing it. I don't think a lot of people understand where the CDH community is coming from when they say this is awful and this is terrible. Yes, maybe people will adapt, but you're hurting the format. You're making it less fun. Going fast is fun. Having complex interaction is fun. If you ban a card and you say, well, this was leading to too much time, you know, with interaction and it was too confusing. Magic is a game of God knows how many mechanics and how many so much complicated interaction can happen from some things that you find kind of simple in the beginning and then it becomes complicated later. It's the beauty of Magic. It's a complicated game. You have to be able to think through things. And sometimes turns will take 35 minutes. That's a part of the game. It's, you know, and if you want to regulate that for Standard or for Modern, okay. Those are competitive formats that are controlled directly by Wizards. Fine. You do whatever the hell you want, and maybe people will whine, but it'll blow over. When you mess with CDH or Commander in general, which is an eternal singleton format that was spawned from the community, and the RC self-designated to regulate it, which even Sheldon Minery has said in the past that, you know, Rule 0 trumps whatever RC says, and it's not an official thing from Wizards, so stores don't have to abide by the ban list, right? But the issue is for tournaments we typically do, and it has been done that way. So this is where it gets confusing. So if we're not going to abide by these recent bannings, do we abide by any of the bannings? Do we abide by some of the bannings? Do we start our own ban list in-house? Which I hate. I hate when stores have their own ban list because they don't understand, you know. Sorry about that. Commander, there are multiple goals to Commander. Everyone's trying to do their own thing. You know, they enjoy the game in their own way. Typically, they play with people who enjoy that game in a similar way. And that's the beauty of Commander. You curate your experience. If you don't like a pod, you go to a different pod. If it's too high-powered, you ask them to play a lower-powered deck. And most of the time, they have a lower-powered deck. Especially if they have a high-powered deck they spend a ton of money on, they probably have an upgraded precon in their bag or something. And if they're not willing to do that, don't play with them. It's the beauty of an LGS. As soon as you're done playing with that pod, there's another 3 to 4 or 5 pods elsewhere that you can join. And if you don't have that, I apologize, but that's the case here. So, yeah. That's basically all I have to say. I think someone's about to walk into my shop. Anyway, okay, that's all I got. I mean, I have to go. Just sucks, man. Just sucks. I know. We stirred a bunch of shit on Twitter, and yeah, we got a bunch of hate and a lot of support. Thank you guys for the support. But please just understand that you can have your opinion, and we can have our opinion too. I hate these bans. And if you love these bans, cool. You're a fellow Magic player, and I love you, and I respect you. It is what it is. So that's it. Okay, people are outside of my shop, so I gotta go. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm from MrMTG.com. Bye-bye.